Anyone? No question? Everyone is good? Are you guys still there? Or you listened halfway and then you went off already? How do we know what the psalm sound like? What the psalm sound like? Now, I do not know exactly what melody was it, except the information that we get from the psalm. Do you know that the psalm has a subheading? Has a subheading, huh? You know that the psalm have subheading, huh? The subheading, like for example, okay, Psalm 53, for example, in my Bible, in my translation, it says, to the choir master, according to Mahalat, a mashkil of David. Okay, then the footnote says something like, mashkil is probably a musical or a liturgical term. Mahalat is what? It sounds like it is like to a certain kind of instrument. Okay, for a certain kind of instrument. So most probably there was some kind of tune to it. But today we do not know what exactly the tune was. We also couldn't know, what kind of tune was Jesus and his disciples sang, during the Passover meal or the Last Supper. They had the Last Supper already, right? And then they sang the psalm, and most probably those psalms were Hallel psalms, okay, the 146 to 150, those psalms over there, right? So we do not know exactly how does it sound like, when it's being sung, but those of us who can read Hebrew, okay, every poetry, Psalms actually have some kind of what we call meter or cadence. That means the kind of rhythm, the kind of beat, and the kind of repeating, the kind of rhyming. If you read in the Hebrew, the rhyming is very distinct. You can hear the rhyming of it. Some sound coincide with some another sound. Okay. Today a lot of info to digest. A lot, meh? Okay lah. It's just an introduction to the psalm. Okay, a survey to the psalms. Okay, so I hope I answered the question, Denise. How do we know what psalms sound like? I don't know. We don't know. We don't have the info of it. Even in Jesus' time, we also don't have the info of how does it really sound like. But they most probably sang it to a certain tune, Okay, and Selah. What does Selah mean, or why does Selah appear so often? Well, Selah seems to be like a certain kind of pauses. Nobody know exactly what does it mean, but it looks like a little bit of like a kind of pauses where people just take time to reflect a little bit, reflect for certain seconds or whatever, it is not unfamiliar for those people who learn music. Okay, you have this thing called the rest. So you have a full rest, or you have a half rest, or a quarter rest, that kind of rest, which is very, very common. If there's no rest in the music, it's going to be a disaster. Okay, yeah, probably. But some people read the word Selah and mean that God wants us to take a rest. God wants us to take Sabbath. I think that is reading too much to it. Yeah, I don't think that is what it means. It is not the kind of meaning that you need to take your time from your busy schedule and to just breathe, and then some people go very new age and breathe in, breathe out, be very mindful, let your mind be empty and blah blah blah, all this. I don't think so. Selah doesn't seem to be like that. Okay. The English translator try very, very hard no matter what translation you are reading from, they try very, very hard to retain all the Hebrew sound or the Hebrew cadence or meter, you know. They try to put syllables match with the same syllables, but they don't do a perfect job. Nobody can do a perfect job because of translation. The Chinese also the same thing. The Chinese translation also the same thing. The same goes for the Indonesian translation of the Bahasa Bible. Is the same as well. Nobody can do a perfect or flawless job. Okay. So no choice. Some things are got lost in translation. From book 1 to book 5, any classification of these books, any classification, okay. I think there are some people who try to notice some things, especially in let me see, let me see whether can I find anything there. They try to get some classification in such a way that, you know, because of 5, so it coincides with the 5 books of Moses. So I do not know exactly, is it book 2 talks about Exodus? No, I don't think so. I don't think so, okay? But is there any, what do you call that, classification in terms of like themes like that? I think it seems like, okay, let me just try. Now we are looking at the genre. So let's look at book 1 and see the genre is how. Now you look, got lamentation, got royal, thanksgiving. Royal means kingly, praise, trust, hymn, wisdom. This is book 1. Okay, book 2, okay, if we go to book 2, how does it look like? Book 2, wisdom, trust, royal, praise, lament. Okay, book 3 goes to praise, thanksgiving, royal, wisdom, lament, more or less the same. So I cannot say that there are some kind of what do you call that, some kind of theme. Okay, oh, no wonder I'm talking about this, you are not looking. Okay, sorry, I've forgotten to share the screen. Okay, now, okay, so you can see this if I close book 1, book 2, or book 3. So it seems that all these, there's no particular sequence, you know, to why is it book 1 refer to creation, book 2 refer to the law. No, it's not like that. It doesn't seem to be like that. Okay, so I don't think we can observe any kind of what do you call that, classification there, but definitely, if you really want to classify, I think there are some people who try to classify also, because undoubtedly, book 5 onwards, book 5 onwards is actually a lot has to do with praises, song of ascent. Okay, praises, song of ascent, going into worship or praise. Then you end with high praise, you know, that you end with let everything that has breath praise the Lord, right? You end with that. So seems like there is some kind of sequence over there. Okay, now no question, just surprised that the Psalms is basically a song that's way beyond its time by then. Basically a song that is way beyond its time by then. What does it mean? Barry, can you explain a little bit? I kind of get your question, but it's still not very clear. You might want to type in a little bit more so that I can understand your question. As in picturing the coming of Christ, okay? Basically a song that's way beyond its time by then. Oh, yeah, because the psalm captures, you know, okay, psalms are poetry. Poetry are very emotionally charged, okay? Very, very emotionally charged one. You know, so you, if you were in the Bible seminar that I just had, you know that there's a psalm that we, yeah, it is full package of all human emotions and situations. Yes, correct. You know, because it's emotionally charged. So you will also find that as you read the psalm, you will actually find a lot of wisdom inside that how it reflects people today. People last time and people today, there are certain things that don't change, you know. You know, for example, you want so much for justice to be done, right? You want the bad people to be judged, justice to be done, right? But you cannot push it. You cannot have it done the way you want it, the timing where you want it. So what do? You use song to express that kind of emotion, that kind of helplessness sometimes. It's not that you're hopeless, but you're helpless because you cannot take the law into your own hands. You cannot revenge people. All right? And you look at the wicked. Why they are so wicked? Why are they prospering? Why they are doing so well? And sometimes you turn these kind of things to God and you talk to God about it. Well, that's our human emotion, isn't it? We bring our emotion to God and say that, God, if only you come and save, you come and do something, and then all these things will be stopped. And as you do that, you look to God, you look to His promises, you look to His covenant with the ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. You look about the Exodus story that has been retold year after year during the Passover meal, right? Then you realize that it seems that there is somebody that we are waiting for. And of course, the prophetic books also serve a very, very important role in the Bible. The prophetic book is talking again and again about the sin of the people and about, the anticipating of the permanent solution that comes only through the suffering servant of the Lord, which is the Messiah. For example, in Isaiah 53, you read about the suffering servant of the Lord or servant of Yahweh, right? Then you turn to Psalm, you will find that kind of waiting for that promises translated into very emotionally charged kind of song or poetry that tells God about how does it feel like to wait upon Him, to wait for that promises to come. Just like Psalm 19 last week, right? We learned about that. David come to a point that he realized that God has done everything good. Everything good. He has done it already. And the reason why He gave me the law to correct me, to help me, is because I am not good. And if I am not good, I have even sins, hidden faults that are inside, hidden sins, secret sins that I don't even know. Then what am I waiting for? What hope do I have? There's no hope except to wait for God. Please pardon me. Please restrain me. Please do not count me sinful. God, please save me. Please erase away my sins, And may the words of my mouth, after saying all those things, may still the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be pleasing to you, be acceptable to you, be desirable to you, oh Lord, my God, my rock and my redeemer. My rock and my redeemer. Has God redeemed him yet? In David's life, which part of his life have you read about the word redemption? That God redeemed him, that God saved him? No, none. Yeah, maybe God delivered him from his enemies, from Saul and all that kind of thing. But what does that got to do with, what does that kind of redemption, that kind of deliverance got to do with his awareness of his sin? Nothing. He cannot do anything except God must come in His own ways. God must not count him sinful, totally sinful. God must not judge him as totally sinful. God must send a kind of help, redeemer, and the rock cannot be shaken one, cannot be changed one. I can trust in a lot of things, but this rock cannot be changed. One. I can trust in a lot of things, but all those things are shakeable. All those things are wavering, except when the Lord is my rock and my redeemer. Then, only then, my words in my mouth, the meditation of my heart will be pleasing to you. If not, no way I can be pleasing to you. See that? So in a way, the Psalms are already looking forward to the Messiah, to the coming of Christ in the Psalms. Okay, so yes, it is way beyond its time, maybe, but actually it is not. It is not to say that it's way beyond its time, because remember we learned about that. Abraham, how did Abraham got saved? Abraham got saved because he believed, and God counted him as righteous. Right? How do you know he believed? What is the proof of his belief? What is the proof of his faith in God? The sacrifice of Isaac. Right? And then as that is being proven, you know what God thinks about him is being proven. Really, it is true. But then what is happening then? The Lord will provide. On the mountain of the Lord, it will be provided. Okay? You know, what is it will be provided? The sacrificial lamb will be provided in the mount of the Lord. See, Abraham was already looking forward to the coming of Christ in that sense. So this looking forward to the coming of Christ thing is not something that is unique about David or unique about the Psalms. It is all throughout the generations. And that's in fact, the anticipating for the Messiah should be a natural outflow in the Psalms. Should be and must be, and it has been. Yes. Okay. I hope I answered your question. Anything else, guys? Any question about about the Psalms? You should try to read the Psalms every day, you know, one Psalm a day. One Psalm a day. Yeah. Try to read. Okay, of course, if you cannot finish Psalm 119, you split into a few days is also fine. Okay, Psalm 119. The whole Psalm is an acrostic Psalm. It starts with alphabet, Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet. All right, and all that. Okay, any other question, my friends? Today we are very early, 10:22 only now. Even though we started late, but we ended early. Okay, so it's actually very, very early. Anything else? Anything else you want to ask about the Psalms, about David, about the Psalms? Selah often appear, if let's say it is true that it is like a pause for people to reflect, then you don't see why Selah, it's not too surprising to know that Selah appears a lot of time. Because expressing of emotion, you need the pauses one. It's not just all the time. It's a pauses to reflect on what you just said. Reflect, think, recall what God has done before in the past. Yeah, it is like that, right? So if there is Selah, if that Selah means pauses, you know, like a kind of musical pauses or poetical pauses, that's totally not surprising at all. Okay. All right. Any question, my friends? You have been very quiet, you guys. I thought I saw Karina just now. I think went off already lah. No problem, Denise. No problem. Okay, no question. Okay, since no question, okay, long time I didn't do this. And Adriel also don't know where already. Is he still around? Or he was kicked out already? Okay, can you all just go into your breakout room? Long time we didn't do this already, huh? Go into your breakout room and share with one another one thing that you learn from tonight about the Psalms? I think I can put 2 people in a room. So you have a one-to-one interaction. Okay, one-to-one interaction. Okay, there you go. Okay, go into your room if can. Talk to one another. One thing that you learn from the Psalms. Okay, make sure you talk to your friends. Don't be quiet on them. Okay. Denise, go and join. Okay, good.